simplify and multiply. You can't afford to make a mistake right now. This isn't 2022 anymore.
Not trying to turn the proverbial loser into a winner just because you're desperate to do deals.
Stay consistent with your marketing and deals are going to happen.
Real estate market analysis 2025. We're in June, and I'm Phil Pustiowski, joined by Devin Sheehan, Brian Bush, two of the sharpest minds in creative real estate investing. And together we are Freedom Mentor. We want to give you an analysis of the real estate market as it pertains to you as an investor, or if you're looking to buy or sell a home. And this is going to be the residential real estate market. Gentlemen, thanks so much for joining me.
Great to be here.
Absolutely, Phil.
So we're going to do something fun I never see sports analysts do. We're going to own up to our predictions. So we got together about 6 months ago, and we talked about the forecast for the 2025 real estate investing world, and we covered a lot of great topics. And so let's go over those and how we did. So Brian, I'll start with you. Interest rates. You predicted that they would come down, but it would be gradual. How was your prediction?
Unfortunately, a little more gradual than I was hoping. They've barely inched down, but they've come down a little. I didn't anticipate, of course, the tariff battle that is still ensued. Of course, we just got to deal with China, so hopefully that's going to help to stabilize some things. But overall, we've seen them come down some. We need to see them come down some more to stimulate the market more. But I guess overall, I was right. I wish I was more right, and they'd come down further.
So what impact do the current interest rates have on the market as we speak?
I think it has a lot of people stuck in place. I think if, as I said before, if we can get into the fives, I think that just opens doors because people start making moves. But as it is, I think a lot of folks have just kind of stood still, and they're just going to see and wait to see what happens. And then we get into the tariffs and the other impacts those are having. And everybody's seen the cost of eggs come down, but we need to see more, and it's just apparently going to take some more time.
All right. Well, Devin, you had predicted that in the Trump administration, there would be a push to get bonus depreciation back to 100%. It's 40% now for 2025. How did your prediction go here?
I think we're right on track with that prediction. Knowing Mr. Trump as a developer, we knew he was going to go in that direction in the big, beautiful bill that he had put together. Obviously, it passed at the House level, needs to pass at the Senate. But what this does, for the bonus depreciation is it really encourages investors to get back out there and start spending the money because it really allows them to protect themselves when it comes tax time, to put more money in their pocket, improve the assets, et cetera. So I think it's going to really give a nice jump back into the marketplace for those that are currently investing and plan to invest.
Absolutely. But one question I would have, Devin, would it push more investors by optimizing their units, to create more inventory in the marketplace? Because now they're given a tax deduction for updating their properties.
Yeah, I mean, they're going to be able to fix their units, provide even a better quality unit to tenants and those that are renting. And plus, they're going to want to go out and buy even more real estate, right? So it's going to give more inventory. And I think it's going to allow them to put themselves in position to feel comfortable about spending a bunch of money again.
Yeah, I think it's really interesting because such a huge win for the investors watching this video right now if that part of the legislation gets all the way through and gets signed. But I'm also eyeing the issue of inventory. So I'm going to tell myself here, I was wrong. I did not predict that inventory levels were going to climb to the levels they have in proportion to the buyer activity, especially in markets like Florida, where I'm at, Brian, where you're at in Texas. I didn't see it coming. I was wrong. Inventory levels have climbed dramatically. In fact, Redfin just released a interesting report showing that the disparity between the active sellers in the market and the active buyers is over 500,000 right now, which is significant and hasn't been that way since they've ever been calculating that statistic. So what we're seeing in Florida and in certain other markets in the South and Southeast and the West is that properties are sitting on the market longer, and that's because of the inventory. So inventory levels, it's kind of interesting. Devin, you're in the Northeast, are not much of a problem in many parts of that of the Northeast because I think a lot of builders thought the entire country after COVID was going to move south to be in more of the warmer climates. Well, y'all have the last laugh now because we're dealing with dropping prices in certain markets, and I know you've got several active deals, Devin, and the market is really active there relative to the amount of inventory. So houses are selling very quickly. So it is specific to the area, but y'all, I was wrong. Inventory levels have risen. So, Brian, what happens in markets like Texas and Florida when the inventory levels rise dramatically?
Obviously, you're going to see a slowdown in price increases. I don't know that we're going to see a huge drop, but obviously, with more inventory, we move towards a buyer's market. From our perspective, we're not buying properties on MLS. We work directly with sellers. We're looking for motivated sellers, and those are the sellers that have to make a move: divorce, job loss, death in the family, whatever that may be. And those folks need a solution. They can't sell quickly with the added inventory, so as a result, it brings us more business, and we find ourselves doing more creative deals because oftentimes these may be folks that don't have a huge amount of equity. They need to get that something done quickly. They can't do it with the traditional agent, and that's where we're able to come in and really help save the day and have a good opportunity, provide a win-win.
So that you use the phrase a buyer's versus a seller's market. From what you just described, Brian, it sounds like we're in an investor's market.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think that we're going to see more and more opportunity for investors. Of course, it depends on what you're focusing on. Obviously, there's tried and true, let's renovate properties, but we've seen a lot more creative deals in the past 6 months, as we anticipated we would. People selling subject to some owner finance, folks that are kind of stuck. Otherwise, we are seeing some of those low interest rate deals, taken over at 3.25. Not every market, because we had one apprentice that was struggling to find a buyer because the mortgage PITI was a lot higher than the rental rates. And so, again, it's going to vary market by market, but we've still seen a lot of success with those.
Every successful real estate investor has a mentor. Get mentored by me and my team by applying to be my next apprentice. Click the top corner. So, Devin, you spend a lot of time helping buyers and sellers as well as a top producing agent. Uh, for a home seller that comes up to you right now, especially not in Northeast, but in an area with higher inventory, what are you telling a seller of a home? What advice do you have for them in a high inventory environment?
The advice I would share with them, as you alluded to, Phil, in my market, it still is a seller's market. The inventory is very low. There are multiple offers, and the demand is high. So if you have a property in the Northeast, you're seeing that you're going to get multiple offers and you're going to get strong pricing. If you're in one of the markets, as you shared, where the inventory is high, you have to be more aware of your pricing. I always like to share with sellers, if you were going to make an offer on a property and you saw a property you love day one, what type of offer would you make versus if you saw a property on day 45? Your offer would be completely different. So overpricing your property, oftentimes, Phil, and Brian hears this too as well, a lot of sellers like to start higher and go lower. You never want to be that seller. You always want to be the seller starting at a good price. And if the property is worth more, the market will take it and drive it up.
And what about if someone's looking to buy a home right now in a high inventory environment? What advice do you have for them?
I would say, don't be scared of the interest rates. Those are going to come down. You can refi later, and be aggressive with your offers, because if a seller truly is motivated to sell, they're going to have to put it together, because the last thing they want is continue to sit on the market and in 90 days have to lower it even lower than maybe what you would have offered. So be aggressive with your offers and don't be afraid of the interest rate. Get in, refi out, and make an aggressive offer.
That's great advice. I I put a video together several years ago on how to sell a home the Freedom Mentor way, and I strongly encourage everyone to watch that if you're looking to sell, because our method produces multiple offer situations, even in high inventory environments. We just had a one of our apprentices in Louisiana. He put a property in the market for 600,000. He had four offers, and after escalation clauses, the winner paid 640 for it, and that's in a market that it has a lot of inventory. So if the formula is done right, if the methods are done right, well, you can do very well even in high inventory markets. And then I'm telling all my friends around here in Florida, this is going to be the time to buy that trophy property if they're looking to buy a home right now. They're going to be able to be aggressive. And what I also love, Devin, is there are properties coming on the market that don't rarely come on the market because there's such a lack
Mm.
of buyers. You're gonna hit that winner. So I'm also telling them, be patient to find the winner because the winner's coming. You don't have to feel like there's no good deals that are ever gonna hit the market. They're gonna hit.
Yeah.
And then, as you said, be aggressive as soon as it hits. Be aggressive in that price because you can be. And this is kind of trophy hunting. This is where someone buys a home that they can live in for the next 20 years. That's got the perfect location, the right school systems, enough land, all those kind of attributes. Again, I think it's a really exciting time for an investor and for a home buyer. Is it as exciting for a seller? Well, you better follow the formula, or else you're going to be in a heap of trouble.
To throw in there, to your point, selling the Freedom Mentor way, I was talking to an apprentice just this morning that is putting his rehab on the market. He's looking at comps in the 430 range. He considered being around 425. He doesn't necessarily want to run into the problem he did last time selling the Freedom Mentor way, where he priced it too low and ended up with just a headache of a weekend with like 35 showings. So in this case, he's debating, do I list it for 100 and get a huge amount of traffic? Do I go in a little higher? But either way, he's well positioned. And as Devin was alluding to, we're not going to be sitting on the market for 90 days and learning the hard way. We know how to get it moved quickly. And of course, he's in the Northeast, so he's got a low inventory, so that's going to benefit him as well.
Hmm. So, Devin, what advice do you have for investors for the second half of 2025? What do they need to focus on?
I think investors need to focus on being consistent with their marketing. There are always deals to be found. As I always come back to, there are life situations that people go through that causes them to have to sell and be motivated. I would say just be consistent. Your consistency is the key to getting deals done. And knowing that a deal is going to come. It may not be on the first few leads, but it's going to be on the next one. And that is the best advice I give to our students. And the best advice that I give to other investors is stay consistent with your marketing and deals are going to happen.
Nice. How about you, Brian?
I would say what you mentioned earlier, patience. I think it's very important that as you're marketing, as you're getting plenty of leads coming your way, that you're patient and going back to basics, fundamentals when we evaluate deals, not trying to turn the proverbial loser into a winner just because you're desperate to do deals. You have to be patient and make sure that it makes sense. I talked to an apprentice this morning that had two leads come her way. One of them pretty much selling at retail, might have an additional lot that helps to move it faster. But there's not a lot of room because it's not a motivated seller, really, per our definition. So just learning to be patient, learning to pick the deals that make the most sense. And of course, in her case, one of those was a rehab. So you have to ask yourself, do I want to take on a rehab just to stay busy? Or do I want to just be patient, maybe go for the quick nickel over the slow dime, leave that headache for someone else so I'm available to pick up on the next deals that are coming my way?
Absolutely.
I love that. I love what you shared too, Devin. I'm all about having our people simplify and multiply in an environment like this. Keep it simple with getting the deal under contract, trying to find a buyer as quickly as you can. Long rehabs, that gets complicated. And if there's rising inventory, you can't as easily predict what the property is truly going to sell for. So keep it simple and just do more of that. As you said, Devin, if you're consistent with your marketing, we're in an investor's market. You're going to have deals roll through. Simplify and multiply. Make sure you're following the right advice. Freedom Mentor, this is what we've been doing for nearly 20 years now. You see our passion, you see our expertise. This is our world. So work with people like us so that you are making the right decisions. You can't afford to make a mistake right now. This isn't 2022 anymore. You can't just get lucky. You've got to do it right, and you've got to have the right advice around you, the right advisors to help put you in the right position. That's what we do here at Freedom Mentor. We mentor, we coach, we turn y'all into money-making machines. We love your comments. We love your feedback. So please feel free to share with us your predictions on the second half of 2025. Let us know how our advice has helped you. And Brian, Devin, thank you so much for being with us here today.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Be sure to get your free copy of my best-selling book, How to Be a Real Estate Investor, and that comes with the audiobook version as well.